Today, a state of national emergency has been declared across New Zealand. Through the early and hard measures we've taken at the border,
New Zealand's Prime Minister is taking radical steps to contain COVID-19 there. Jacinda Ardern said today we only have 102 cases. So did Italy.
The COVID cabinet met today. These decisions place the most significant restrictions on New Zealanders' movement in modern history. Over the next 48 hours, people will need to go home.
Hey, party people. I don't know. This is the vlog I never wanted to make. I'm in this hotel room that my friend was nice enough to book for me, Holiday Inn in Queenstown. I've just spent the last about 3.5 months here in New Zealand. I'm here on a working holiday. I have a visa for 1 year, but unfortunately, it's officially seeming like I'm gonna have to cut my trip short and come home literally right now, like as soon as possible. Following the announcement on yesterday, Monday morning, from the Prime Minister of New Zealand basically ordering at least 4-week shutdown of the entire country in order to stop the spread of the virus. So New Zealand has up to this point been pretty much untouched, it almost seems like, from the virus. I am constantly getting Facebook updates and hearing about it from family members, how crazy it is over in the United States right now with everything shut down, and I haven't really seen anything like that here until yesterday. Everything was kind of operating as normal. There weren't too many cases. Like, everybody was like, you didn't even really hear people talking about it. Like, it was kind of just like we were kind of detached from all of it. And then all of a sudden, in the course of like 4 days, you started hearing people talk about it. And even though there still aren't that many cases, I think New Zealand just realized like how bad it could get watching other countries descend quickly. So they kind of just decided to take some preventative measures to just stop it before it really begins. My options are kind of limited because basically, like, I won't be able to have a job, and I'm not going to be able to stay out here for a whole month without bringing in some sort of income, because I kind of just took my big break. I was planning on getting a job like within a couple of days now, so I just don't have the funds to get me through a month. And then on top of that, like, if all the cafes and stuff are shut down, like, I just don't have any way to charge my stuff, which means I won't really be able to contact family or watch movies or read my Kindle. So like, I'm basically going to be staring at the walls of my van for 4 weeks straight, like sleeping and think like it's just not gonna work, you know. So I kind of just had to make the decision to come home before the travel restrictions get really serious. The Prime Minister gave us 48 hours before everything starts to kind of shut down. So it started yesterday. I didn't even know about the travel ban because, you know, I sleep up in no service areas. I don't really like keep an eye on the news. It was crazy because Sunday night I was in Queenstown in the town center, and there was music and laughter. I wanna love you every day and every night. People were having a good time. I even made an Instagram story like about how like everything seemed fine here, like 12 hours before everything changed.
I know that the virus is affecting a lot of travel. I'm lucky to be in a country with the like second least impact. Like, this is the second safest country to be, so it's been pretty largely unimpacted so far, but the numbers are starting to go up a little. So unfortunately, I'm thinking as of now I'm gonna have to cut my trip a little short, so I might be coming home in June rather than December, but as of now it's been fine.
And then I came back down to the town center for breakfast before heading up to the North Island on Monday morning yesterday, and it was a ghost town. There was hardly anybody, which is bizarre for Queenstown. Beach Street was empty. I was like the only one, and on every single door there's like hazard signs and like closed until further notice signs.
You know it's bad when Burger is closed.
It was eerie, like it was out of nowhere, and I had no idea what was going on. I was like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, what is happening? It was really bizarre.
Accurate.
And so then I like go and sit in my cafe in Starbucks, and they literally kick everyone out and say we have to close now, like it was like the apocalypse.
documenting it?
Yes.
You know, if Starbucks closes down, it's the apocalypse. So I looked it up. I'm like, what is going on? And then I saw the you have 48 hours thing. Unfortunately, it took me a while to finally look that up. So by the time I started looking for flights home, almost all of them were gone. I was sitting in my van for probably 3 or 4 hours with my dad and my friend and my sister and me all looking up flights, and the websites were crashing and not updating fast enough, so we would click book and it would be this flight is now sold out. It was so stressful, but finally, after hours and hours, one of the flights finally got through for tomorrow, Wednesday. So basically, I'm coming home. The thing that mostly sucks, beyond just the fact that, I was planning to be here for a year and it's only going to be 3 months now, and you can only apply for 1 working holiday in New Zealand in your life, so I'm not going to be able to do this again. The thing that really sucks the most is that I bought a van and I put a whole bunch of work into it, up to including the sink that I installed a couple of days ago, and it's kind of looking like I'm gonna have to abandon my van on the side of the road at this point, because my options are I could scrap it for $500. It's the van itself is probably worth $6,500 USD. I don't feel like that's worth, it would make me so sad if this car with all of this cute stuff inside and all of this work just goes to a scrapyard. I don't know. I've been calling around. I have some people that are willing to just take it for free. It just really sucks because I'm gonna lose so much money. I thought I was buying this van to save money, but because of just outside circumstances, I'll probably end up just basically giving it away. I'm possibly seeing if maybe a friend here in New Zealand can maybe hold on to it and sell it and split the profits later. But and the thing about it too is I just don't want to make it seem like I think I know that I'm super privileged. I know that my situation is a lot better than a lot of other people's situations, and I know that I have it pretty good. It just really goes to show that no one, I think I was in kind of a delusion here in New Zealand that my life wouldn't be affected, because I didn't see it happening as much as it was happening in the US, so I just kind of figured it would skip over me. But it just goes to show that this is a big deal, and everyone's lives are going to be affected, and everyone's plans are going to be affected in some way. It just sucks. It really sucks. I just poured 2-3 years of working hard to get to this point, to get to New Zealand, and then widespread panic is forcing me to come home for a considerable amount of time. Anyways, now I have about 24 hours before I'm on my plane back home, so I gotta completely shut down, close down, and pack up everything in my van. It's gonna be interesting. I'm even just crossing my fingers my flight, knock on wood, my flight doesn't get canceled. The next 24 hours are gonna be chaotic. I just figured I'd vlog it while all of y'all are in self-isolation, give you something to watch if you guys are really bored. Anyways, so right now I'm just sorting through my van, kind of trying to figure out what to abandon, what to take with me. At this point, I'm just leaving stuff that I think someone could use, whoever winds up with my van. It's hard too, because I have so much food, because I just wasn't expecting to have to leave within 48 hours. And so I have so much unopened food, so I started kind of calling around, because I was this would be a good time to donate food to people. But the only places are the Salvation Armies, and they're all closed down. So I don't know. I'm gonna drive around and try to find a dump place, because I'm gonna have to get rid of so much stuff. This is sad. Yeah. Went and dropped all my trash off at the dump. I stopped by a food bank in Queenstown. I called them and they said they're closed down, but they just told me to drop a bag outside the doors of the food bank and somebody would take it. And I mean, at the very least, maybe there'll be some I don't know, some family that comes to the store and sees a bag of food and takes it. Hopefully someone can take it. I just feel bad throwing away a lot of unopened food. This is hectic. Okay, I emptied out my van, took a couple of pictures. Next plan is to just pack up all my mass amounts of stuff really quickly. I have a couple people willing to either take my van for free or to possibly sell it later, so we'll see what happens with that tonight. And then I'm out of here, my dudes. I am out of here tomorrow. Goodbye, van. Goodbye, Clifford. Van's all sorted. I was so lucky enough that a friend that I made here in New Zealand during cherry picking is the ultimate bro, and he basically agreed to take the van off my hands for me. Then when busy season comes back around, hopefully I can list it online and sell it then, and then we're gonna split the profits, because I was just fully prepared to just leave it at the airport. So fingers crossed, but I'm lucky I have people willing to help me out. Packed up the monster of a suitcase, my carry-on. I look like a mess. This is what stress looks like, in case you were wondering. Today has been a monster of a day, and I literally just managed to pack up my entire life here in New Zealand in 24 hours. Thank you. Hold the applause. Yeah, anyways, sleeping in a little bit tomorrow. Got a slightly late checkout before the hotel closes down entirely, like permanently, until the Prime Minister gives the go-ahead. And then I get to start my monstrous 40-hour flight. Well, it's not one flight, but like it's 40 hours of flying and layovers, sleeping in an airport in Brisbane. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. You know what's gonna keep me going through this is I'm just gonna think of my dog. I'm gonna think of my dog. I'm gonna see my dog soon. It's gonna be the thought that gets me through the next like 2 days. Try not to get sad until I get home. But, you know, I'm gonna really miss this place. So today is the day that I hopefully fly out. I woke up to a billion text messages this morning from my dad saying that my flight was canceled. Like 2 of my flights were canceled out of the 4, and like all the flights out of Queenstown were being canceled. Of course, that makes no sense considering everybody's trying to get out, so let's cancel all the flights. Like, I'm so annoyed. It's been a hassle, but I guess he found me one flight that we don't even totally know if it exists or not on a completely different airline, and it requires me to do like more flights than I even thought, like with weird layovers in Australia, but hopefully I have the flight. So I'm going to the airport now 4 hours early just to make sure, because with my last flight they said that flight didn't even exist, like it was just a glitch in the system, which I'm assuming there are a lot of glitches because like the websites are probably super overwhelmed right now. So today is gonna be the most nerve-wracking day of my life. Like, if all 4 of my flights have a seat for me on it, like I'm gonna be very lucky. And all my layovers are all weird now, so I'm not gonna have like any time or place to sleep. So the next 40 hours are gonna be hell. But like, I'm kind of hoping they are at this point, because like I'd rather have 40 hours of hell of flying than just like get stuck in Australia where I don't have a visa. I don't know what's gonna happen. This is a mess. This is an absolute mess. 48 hours to get out of the country is really hard, and a lot of people are gonna get stuck here. It's the end of days, man. It's the end of days. So over the next 40 hours, I experienced the utter chaos of flying halfway across the world during a worldwide pandemic. A lot of the crazy stuff that happened, they were interactions that I had with airport staff. I couldn't film any of them because there were actual literal signs next to all of the like policemen in the airport and those coronavirus workers that literally said, it is illegal to film a government official or something like that. So I got to the Queenstown airport, come to find out as soon as I get there that it's literally the last flight out of the country. For some reason, they canceled every single other flight, and this is the one flight left, and I got the last seat.
So the first thing that happened is, as soon as I get to the airport, I get into this line. There's a whole bunch of workers wearing masks, and they're going around looking at people's passports and like taking them and deciding who can and cannot leave the country. And like they were like prioritizing Australia, and so they were like letting all the Australians through. But for some reason, they were sending a lot of the foreign citizens away. Like they were just saying like, sorry, you can't fly with us today. And I didn't know what was the deciding factor, so I was getting really nervous. Everybody that they were sending away, they were all so nice. Like they were all just like, it's okay, and they like walked out of the airport. So then she comes up to me, this worker, and she takes my passport and she like looks at my flight itinerary. She says, sorry, you can't fly with us today. You have 2 stops in Australia and they're not allowing that. You can't board this flight out of here. I'm a very like soft-spoken, like polite, friendly person. I've worked these jobs before. I don't want to be that person, but like I was like, I'm not going to be able to be here for the next month. Like I literally cannot do it. It's not an option. So for the first time in my life, I went full Karen on this worker and like you could tell everybody was just like, there's the American. Like I didn't like yell at her, but I was basically like, I was like, no, sorry, that's not gonna work. This is the itinerary that your airline gave me. If I wasn't allowed to have 2 stops in Australia, then that's not the decision I made. I didn't book them individually. That's what the airline gave me. And she was like, oh no, sorry, it's just like they're not allowing that to happen. And I was like, I get that. If I can go and get a new flight with just 1 stop in Australia, will you hold this flight for me? And she was just like, I mean, I guess, but like the problem, and I was like, no, okay, hold this flight for me, I'll be back in like 10 minutes. And I left the line. And so like at this point, I already had 2 full flight itineraries that were shot. This is hour 1, what's to come next? I got this new flight itinerary. I came back to her. They finally were like, okay, fine, go through. And I'm pretty sure I was like one of the only foreign people that got onto that flight. And like, I feel bad because I kind of went a little bit American Karen in that airport. Like I didn't just like quietly walk away, but like I got on the flight.
One flight out of Queenstown, here I go. I landed in Sydney, made it on the last flight out of New Zealand. Doesn't seem like things are as bad here. There's actually like airport shops open and stuff. A lot of the flights here are canceled too, but so far, fingers crossed, mine is still on. I still got 2 more days of this. It's gonna be a really long process. I'm hoping to sleep a little on this flight, and then I've got a full day of layovers and flying tomorrow, and then I have to sleep in LAX, and then I'll hopefully be in Denver the day after tomorrow. I'm never gonna complain about flying again. Like, even if flights get canceled in the future or anything, like at least it's not like the only flight. As soon as this flight takes off, I'm gonna feel better because the next time I land, I'll be on American soil where I have a lot more options. It's also crazy too with just like how much things have changed at the airport, because like there's people wearing like full body, like almost like hospital gown kind of things, and like face masks, and like handing out pamphlets on coronavirus, and you have to declare your quarantines. It's really bizarre, and everybody's just very like head down, don't talk to me. I mean, maybe they're always like that at airports, but it just seems a lot less lively, like everyone's a little bit just trying to get home.
They finally call boarding, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness, like, I'm good. Like that kind of went without a hitch. Let me tell you, they're asking everybody a couple of questions at the desk. So he asked me just like a couple of basic questions, like, have you been to China in the last like 6 months? And I was like, no. And then he asked me, are you traveling alone? And I was like, yeah. And he like literally like he turned around and he like snapped, like he was like, there was like a wall, like I'm not exaggerating, there's like a wall of police officers behind all of the travel agents, and occasionally like an airline employee will call them over, and they'll go over, and they were like interviewing specific people, and like they were telling certain people like they couldn't go, like they were stuck in Sydney. It was really weird. And so like as soon as I said, yes, I'm traveling solo, they were like, I guess that earned me a police interview. So I had to interview with this police officer for 15 minutes in the airport, and he was like really scary. Like he was really intimidating, and he was just like, he was asking me really weird questions, like nothing relevant to the coronavirus, like, and they were sending people away. So I was like, I don't know which of these answers is going to make me miss my flight. I was just answering honestly, but I was like, I could say anything at any moment and they'll tell me I can't board. They were asking me weird questions like, did you pack your own bags? Are you packing anything for anyone else? Why are you fruit picking specifically? He was asking me like life questions, like life choice questions. Like he was like, why did no one come with you to New Zealand? Like, why are you traveling alone? Why did you choose to travel alone? Is this your first time traveling alone? And I was like, why? It was so many questions about why are you traveling alone. It was weird. And then eventually he was kind of like, okay, you can go. And I was like, okay, thank you. At that point, I was just like, I'm one of the lucky few to be on this plane. Like, I've gotten this far out of sheer dumb luck. Safe in Honolulu. I spent like 8 hours there. It was the best layover ever because the Honolulu airport, like it has like a whole courtyard with like palm trees. It has like a garden. It was so warm outside. Like I was literally debating staying there. I was like, maybe I should just spend my quarantine in Hawaii, but like I said, I didn't really have the money to do that. The weird thing too is like I got interviewed by police there too for the exact same thing. As soon as I said I was traveling solo, they interviewed me. That one only lasted like 5 minutes and the guy was a lot nicer, but it was like the same questions. So I don't really know what they were trying to get at. Like I don't know what they were looking for, but it was weird. I got interviewed by police twice. In case you were wondering what flying during the coronavirus is like. I went and boarded my flight to LA. There was hardly anyone. They would have like some people in one row, then they would have an empty row. And it was so nice because I get to my seat and for the first time in my life, I had a row all to myself. I was like, oh, I'm gonna sleep. It was a nice relief. But then I didn't really sleep much anyways because I was just still really stressed and anxious. But you know, it helped.
Outside of aircraft, beautiful York downtown, Honolulu, on the water in Waikiki. We're scheduled to arrive at gate 53A in...
Made it to LAX, finally. And guess what? My LA to Denver flight got canceled, but my dad got me another flight, leaving earlier so I don't have to spend the night in the airport. I only have to spend 4 hours here. So that's bright side. I just did sorry, I'm so tired. I've only gotten about an hour and a half of sleep in the last 48 hours, but I didn't want to sleep on the floor, so close. I'm like 3 hours away from being done. I brought 4 cookies with me from my favorite place in New Zealand, and I've been eating 1 cookie at each gate. It's the only thing that's gotten me through this. That and the thought of my dog. So close. One cool thing for my last leg of this whole ordeal is seats are so cheap right now. Flights from LA to Denver are $30 economy. So I'm actually, for my last leg, for my last 2 hours, I'm flying first class, which I've never done any upgraded seats before. Made it. Finally. I made it home safe and sound. I am here in Colorado. You know, I'm counting my blessings. I know I could be in a much worse situation. Traveling, it's not over. It's still gonna be a part of my life. I am planning to hopefully take a Disney cruise in January. And as soon as the virus has gone away, I am planning to take 4 months around Thailand and Cambodia. So yeah, there's some more travel coming up soon, hopefully. I still have some New Zealand videos coming as well. All of my Queenstown, Wanaka, canyoning, bungee jumping, like I saved the best videos for last. I just wanted to upload this one first, just to show everyone that I'm home safe. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my Queenstown Part 1 video. Stay safe.
So Paige is home, and we're about to surprise the dogs. So here we go. This should be pretty dramatic. There's Franklin. There's Jimmy. Hey guys.